So wait a minute. Now I think it's going to be live. At least on some of them. What's it doing that for? That's Restream screwing that up. It says pay attention to the road. It might be live now. Let's see if that did it. If that just went live, what's happening is a Miami to, yeah, it is live. Hey, everybody. Okay. Exciting. Man, see all this technology in the car and a simple screw up from Restream. Why did it happen? Damn it, because I was so distracted with all the other tech. But anyway, just to get everybody up to speed, and I'll replay this later so people can see it from the beginning. I've borrowed this 2025 Tesla Model Y. It's an incredibly impressive vehicle. Pay attention to the road. It'll turn off the full self-driving if I don't listen to it when it says that. I guess it's screwed up for X live streaming. No, here we go. That might, no. I don't know. I think it's screwed up for X, but it should be live on YouTube right now. I've borrowed this 2025 Tesla Model Y, and the owner has asked me to demonstrate the full self-driving. And what we've got here is I started, not exactly in Miami, pretty close to Miami, Hollywood, Florida, at the Trump Hollywood. And I've programmed Mar-a-Lago into the computer here. The camera has shifted a little bit, oh, kind of a lot. It's gonna yell at me for sure if I try to, woo! Shit. See that? You gotta pay attention to the road. That was bad. Autopilot disabled. Oh boy, what happened? It's that, you gotta pay attention to the road. Damn it. What happened was, holy cow. That was bad. Not impressive for everybody to come in. It's been working great before that. Okay. See that I turned around is what happened. That's why you got to pay attention. Damn. No joke, pay attention to the road. Okay. As I was saying, Tesla, full self-driving autopilot. I don't know what happened. It was trying to get into this lane. Wow, that's the first time it did anything like that. And to its credit, it's raining right now. That startled me. Have no fear, everyone. I'm fine. What we've got in this car is a bonded array of 3 Starlink satellite receivers. This is definitely not a smart thing to do, but we'll do it. Please pay attention to the road. Okay, there we go. So Tesla full self-driving 13.2.9, which I understand is a brand new release. I don't even know, the owner of this car is on some kind of beta. I don't even know. I think not everybody has that. It works quite well. That was my fault that it did whatever. It might have even been not about to crash, but I looked up and it looked like it was, and I grabbed the wheel and pulled it out of the way. So that was my fault, not Tesla's fault. This has been working really well, I have to say. I screwed up the live stream because I didn't have it set right. Stupidest setting that I had turned off. But the setting is back on, and that's why it turned on to the live stream midstream there. I guess it's not. So when I replay this, people will see. Incredible. I wouldn't really. I don't think it's a good idea for me to engage in trying to deal with comments. I'm just going to pay attention to the road, to this, and make sure that it's all working and good. One thing that I screwed up also is I've got one Starlink satellite in the back. I guess it went flying. I don't know where it is. So it's only 2 Starlink satellites active right now and 2 cell phones in a link aggregated bundle. People can follow me on X at JG_CSTT. I hope people will go there. Check out the article that I published this morning where I'm asking the question, was Commissioner Carrick a victim of lawfare? I think the answer is yes. I was looking into it. It's a fascinating story. He had a malpractice action against his attorney, Joe Tacopino, and the judge in the case was the same judge who presided over Swigert v. Goodman, and that judge did a lot of screwy stuff in my case. See, this is really interesting that I've been monitoring lawfare so closely because I know this judge, John Colt. I've seen him. I went to the case where he presided over the city of Almaty, Kazakhstan versus Felix Sater. People can also sponsor Crowdsource the Truth on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. You can't sponsor on Odyssey right now. They're in the process of reestablishing their payment provider. So people who are already on Odyssey are getting a couple of months of free service. I don't mind. I appreciate everybody who is sponsoring on Odyssey, and you guys deserve a little something for that. But join me on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com if you'd like to sponsor. So if you're just joining, this is Tesla full self-drive, new design. I have to say, this is super utilized. It went nuts when I turned around, and maybe I pulled the wheel. I don't know what happened, but it's been in terrible rain. But as I was saying, I know now case what was happening. People who've been watching the show, I've been stalked and harassed with, and I had filed several Rule 11 motions. You're seeking to sanction the other party for just filing harassing stuff, and there was good. Had 3 basically identical lawsuits against me in 3 different jurisdictions. That alone is grounds for a Rule 11 sanction. And by the way, I'm not an attorney. Nothing I say is legal advice. I could be wrong. If you're an attorney and you think that's wrong, feel free to say something in the comments. I'll see it later, provided I don't crash. But yeah, I mean, this is a nonsense case brought back again and again by a vexatious plaintiff. And it's not like the judge evaluated the Rule 11 motion and gave a memorandum opinion as to something that might have been wrong with it. That has happened. I tried to do a Rule 11 motion in a case with Judge Caproni, and what I didn't know at that time is you have to notify the other party 21 days in advance before you file with the court. So there, Judge Caproni wrote a lengthy memorandum opinion about how she was denying the Rule 11 motion because I failed to do the 21-day safe harbor. Now that was crooked too, because in that case what was happening was a bar member attorney, an experienced attorney, had signed my name, put my electronic signature on a document that I had not signed. This was the opposing counsel, not my attorney. And so, I mean, that's like so egregious. It's forging my signature. It's falsifying my compliance with the document that I hadn't yet agreed to. It's so egregious that even if the judge wanted to say, oh, well, we're not granting the Rule 11, navigating without connectivity, what does that mean? Even if the judge wanted to say, we're not granting the Rule 11 because Jason didn't give the appropriate 21-day warning, navigating without connectivity, I don't know, that just came up. I didn't see that before. The judge didn't just say, we're not granting it because Jason did do the 21-day warning. She should have said, I'm not granting it, but this is so egregious because the attorney has just so stepped out of bounds that we're still going to do something. Didn't do that. Just allowed this forgery of my signature into the case, did nothing to the experienced bar member attorney who filed it. I found it ridiculous, but that was Valerie Caproni. In this case, with John Colt, I filed a Rule 11 motion, and it shows up on the docket as a ruling on the motion for sanctions, and it's just allowing the plaintiff to release 2 co-defendants. And the co-defendants were YouTube and Twitter, where he released them, and the plaintiff had harassed YouTube and Twitter with this litigation to get them to shut down my accounts. And then the judge released them before I could even communicate with the attorneys for those platforms and make any kind of argument about getting the accounts back. So it was it was not straight pool at all. And that's John Colt. So I don't know. I thought maybe he was just an idiot. Maybe he was an incompetent 79-year-old drunk moron who didn't know what he was looking at. I was pretty sure that wasn't the case because I entered the Rule 11 motion several times. I entered a 59E, which is a motion. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. A Rule 59E is a motion for reconsideration where I'm telling the judge that he's made a mistake that he's got to correct. And I explained to him that he failed to rule on the Rule 11 motion, and he just said, no, there's nothing to correct. F you, basically. So I sort of knew that this guy knew that he was deliberately screwing me. And then when Commissioner Carrick died last week, I was pretty super shocked by that. I didn't realize that he was ill, and he was only 69. I mean, it's pretty young to die. It says pay attention to the road. I am paying attention to the road. Pretty young to die. By the way, for people who are just tuning in, and I know it wasn't live for most of the time, I'm not actually going to enter Mar-a-Lago. I'm just going Miami to Mar-a-Lago to test out the full self-driving in this borrowed Tesla Model Y. It's new. The owner wanted me to demonstrate this. Heard, we were in conversation. I told him about the bonded link aggregating array that I've constructed with multiple Starlink satellite receivers and multiple cell phones. It's a test of this, pretty challenging technology of driving around doing a continuous high bit rate live stream. I don't know too many people who are doing this, so kind of a technology demo, kind of a cool thing. I screwed up the settings, so even though I'm live right now on YouTube, and I'm live streaming to a cloud server that's recording the whole entire thing. So after I finish this live stream, I'll go back and replay it so everybody can watch it on X. I'm disappointed. I had, visions in my head of this first ever live stream going out on X, and maybe Elon Musk watching it and retweeting it, and perhaps getting a lot of views on that. But anyway, back to Commissioner Carrick. So when he died last week, I was very surprised by that. I felt bad. He was the NYPD commissioner when 9/11 happened, and I was living in New York at that time. I had a lot of respect for him. He was a very good police commissioner. I think the police ran well and the city ran well, and you didn't have crime all over the place like you do now. And then, he kind of got screwed. I had him on the show one time. I interviewed him only once, and so we didn't get to speak that much. There were some questions that came up. I got to go back and watch it again. I put it on X the other day, so people who are following me on X can see that interview with Commissioner Carrick, follow me at JG_CSTT. Look at that, it just passed this Mercedes, handily done. It's amazing, this self-driving technology. I mean, I haven't, other than looking behind me and almost crashing it and grabbing the steering wheel like that, I haven't intervened at all. I'm sorry I did that. If I need to take, this might be my only opportunity to do this, or I don't know, maybe I'll get an opportunity to borrow a Tesla in the future, but as people now know, I've been in Florida for a while. People saw me with Sal Greco a few weeks ago, and then I was having some dental surgery, and I've just been hanging out. I don't like to talk too much about my real-time location, because there are a lot of people who are trying to do bad things to me, mostly in court, but when they know I'm not in New York, it gives them opportunities to try to do things even in court. And that did happen. I'm not prepared to talk about that, but that's partially the reason why I'm doing this live stream drive right now, because the primary antagonist, you know, my location's already blown and the damage that they appear eager to attempt has already been done. But so, when Commissioner Carrick died, I replayed that interview. I didn't really rewatch it. I should rewatch it on X at JG_CSTT. But he said a bunch of things. He reminded us about how he was the interim minister of Iraq. I don't really know what that means, but I guess he was in charge there in Iraq. That's a pretty big deal. Military and intelligence. I mean, who knows what was going on over there. And then he was nominated by George W., the president at the time, to be the Homeland Security Director. And he got all jammed up when that happened and eventually put in jail. And he didn't want to talk about it too much. You know, we should go back and check the timeline as far as when he got out of jail and when I was talking to him. I think that interview was maybe early 2020, and he was in jail. The case was happening around 2014, so I don't know if we have to check when he was in jail. But as I recall, he basically said to me that he didn't really want to be in politics too much anymore, and that he wanted to spend time with his family. Understandable after spending 4 years of your life in jail. And so yesterday and today I decided to look at his case, because it was interesting. You know, I was talking to Sal Greco on the show about Rikers Island, and just, I had known historically from just knowing things that the Salvador Dali painting that Dali had donated to Rikers Island had been stolen in a pretty bizarre heist. In 1965, Salvador Dali made an arrangement with the Department of Corrections, way before Bernard Carrick was even a cop, to go there, and he was going to do like an art lesson or some kind of painting exercise with the inmates, just as a, you know, give back to society kind of a thing. And he got super sick the day he was supposed to go, so he just did a sketch in the hotel and sent that over, and it said, like, this is a gift for the prisoners of Rikers Island for the dining room. And the painting went up in the dining room, the sketch went up in the dining room. And I guess, I don't know, maybe it was not too appreciated because the inmates, there was a food fight and a riot, and somebody threw a pot of coffee at the thing and smashed the glass and got coffee all over the painting. It had a really crazy history, this painting, but it was eventually hanging in like this break room for the wardens and the guards. Make a point of telling you that it was hanging like next to a Pepsi machine or something like that. It really was not treated with the care that a one-of-a-kind hand-drawn Salvador Dali sketch would deserve. I mean, obviously it's a priceless work of art, even with the coffee and everything. I mean, to me, that just adds to the unique lure of the artwork, you know, this tale of that work. But anyway, in 2003 or so, it was stolen in a scheme, a heist hatched by the deputy warden or the assistant deputy warden, this guy Benny Nuzzo, is alleged to be the ringleader of the scheme. And there's this guy Sokol and like Hausberger or something. I don't have the names in front of me, but there was, the wardens and the guards, some of the deputy wardens and a couple of guards, put together a scheme to steal the painting and replace it with a knockoff. They took Polaroids of it, and somebody made a sort of a copy of the thing, and it was apparently a crap copy because it was pretty obvious that it wasn't the real thing. And then, it was noticed right away that it wasn't the real thing. What does it say? Premium connectivity. We're only 20 minutes away from Mar-a-Lago. And just to be sure, I will not be entering Mar-a-Lago. I don't want to do anything to attract the attention of security. We're just going to drive by. Maybe we'll be able to see Mar-a-Lago. That would be cool. I should have put both of these cameras higher up so that we could see out the windows more and not see my legs. But so they stole this painting, replaced it with an obvious fake, and it was detected sort of right away, and one of the guys in the scheme rolled over and became a witness for the investigators, and he wore a wire and recorded them all talking about it. Nuzzo allegedly hid it in the rafters at his mother's house, but they took apart his mother's house. They never found it. The thing is still missing. So it's a bizarre case. But the thing that was interesting about it that ties it to Commissioner Carrick loosely is that Nuzzo used Joe Tacopino as his lawyer. And I don't know, that seemed a little weird to me. Tacopino, he's mostly representing celebrities. He represented Trump. I don't know how a deputy warden from Rikers Island gets enough money to have a lawyer like that. But it is also true that Tacopino, he gets into sensational cases, so maybe he just thought this was interesting. I don't know. It feels a little bit odd to me that Tacopino would represent this guy. And also Nuzzo got completely acquitted by the jury. He didn't do any jail time. Pretty weird. But Nuzzo was also Commissioner Carrick's attorney, and I'm sorry, not Nuzzo, Tacopino was Commissioner Carrick's attorney, and ultimately there's a malpractice suit. Ford Taurus SHO. Can people see that? That's a 365 horsepower four-wheel drive Taurus. I guess you can't see it. If I ever do this kind of thing again, I guess I'd have to do it in my car, but it might be dangerous if you don't have the self-driving. But you got to have the cameras higher up so you guys can see, or maybe one up there in the windshield so people can see what's going on directly in front of me. That would have been good. I ran out of cell phones though. Let me think about that. No, I might have been able to. I'm using two cell phones in the network here. Yeah, no, I couldn't have, because no, they have to be part of the network. Anyway, Tacopino gets sued for malpractice by Commissioner Carrick over this whole deal with this apartment renovation. So Carrick, while he was the commissioner of the corrections department, he gets this $250,000 apartment renovation in his apartment in the Bronx, I think, from this construction company that, in what I read, I don't know anything about the construction company, but it's alleged in these documents that it has mafia ties. I don't know what that means, ties, mafia ties. And I mean, again, to me, Bernard Carrick is not an idiot, and he was the head of the police, and he was a cop his whole entire life. Why would he take what appears on its face to be a $250,000 bribe? To me, that reeks of somebody somehow tricked him into doing that or forced him to somehow do that, because then he goes right to Tacopino and he's kind of trying to sort it out, right? He's nominated to be the Homeland Security Director, and so he knows he's going to have all these disclosures, and he's trying to unwind it. Tacopino, according to these filings, allegedly, and we can't ask Commissioner Carrick, sadly, but Tacopino tells him, go to Bronx Superior Court and you're going to plead to a misdemeanor that you didn't report this or whatever, And Tacopino tells him it's the equivalent of pissing on the sidewalk, but this is what sinks Bernie Carrick's ship. And so this is all, I'm reading about all this in the malpractice case that's in federal court. I downloaded it from Pacer, and this is all in front of Judge John Colt, who's the same judge presiding in Swigert v. Goodman. So I know this guy, and he's had a lot of unfair and unfavorable rulings against me. And he seems to be doing the same thing to the commissioner. He's just, you know, ignoring all this crazy stuff. 5x5 now, good. Pay attention. See, you can't look at the phone. It knows right away when you're looking at the phone, and it tells you pay attention or we're going to stop driving. But it really seems to me like Judge Colt is a lawfare judge, and just like my lawyer John Snyder sank my case, it seems like, I can't prove this, this is an allegation based on information and belief, evidence that I've seen in the public domain. Other people might draw other conclusions from that same evidence, but it seems possible that Tacopino set up Carrick. That's what Carrick says. He says that he was working, that Tacopino was working with federal agents, and that he violated attorney-client privilege, kind of in the same exact way that Ivan Rakelin tried to do. Violate attorney-client privilege. Isn't that crazy? They have lawyers who are working on the lawfare to violate your attorney-client privilege and learn everything about your case and then blow it for you. It's really bad. But this is what Bernard Carrick alleged. And instead of saying, yeah, okay, Bernard Carrick, you've got a case here, Tacopino screwed you, and now you can sue him for malpractice and get cases overturned and get your money back and stuff like that.
Keep left to stay on Interstate 95 North.
11 minutes will be in Mar-a-Lago. Instead of allowing him to win or another stuff, pleading in the case, you got to understand, read a 10-year-old case is very difficult. Artificial intelligence is quite helpful in doing that, just like it's helpful in driving this car right now. However, and poor kid. Oh boy. Yes, I will. I'm paying attention. All this technology scolding me. I mean, it's amazing, but it's driving me. It's super good. I'm just keeping my hands on the wheel because when it tells troubling to know. Started crowdsourced. The courts are correct. I go to the doctor and he says you're sick and he walks out of. What good does that do me? You know, you lost connection. Let's see if it reestablishes. Real. We're down to 2 satellites and 2 cellular connections. Complicated thing that I'm doing now while I tell everybody by lawfare. Here, we got this angle too, up my nose, but that shows everybody the. Oh no, I don't want it to see me looking at the cell phone because then right away it'll say, hey, stop screwing around, you got to pay attention. But follow me on X. This guy's tailgating like crazy. Back off, dude. Damn. Cadillac. Yeah, see, the next time I do this, I need a camera up in the rear. I have that in my car. I have the dash cam, and I did devise a way to tie in the... There's cameras all over this car, but I don't know. This isn't my car, so I don't know how you could tie in the cameras. There's a thing called Sentinel or Sentry or something that is recording all around the car, and obviously it's using these cameras. Here, wait a minute, we can do this. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's super cool. There we go. Can people see that? Wait. Look at that. Oh my God, that's so cool. Look at this Cadillac. Look right behind me. This thing was tailgating like a madman. But it's pretty scary to know. When I first started Crowdsource the Truth, I was saying, people would say, oh, the courts are corrupt. And it's like, yeah, okay. So what the hell do you mean? That's like the doctor telling me I'm sick. How do I deal with that? And now we know. We have a much better sense of how they're corrupt. And I don't yet know how to solve it. I mean, I'm trying that now. People who have been following what I've been doing with the, well, let's see, how do I get back to knowing when I'm going to get there? 7 minutes. Not bad. God, this is amazing. It was driving through the pouring rain, even when I wasn't looking and jiggling the wheel and almost crashed. It alerted me and saved me from certain death. Congratulations, Tesla, on this is maybe the most amazing car I've ever driven in my entire life. The car that drives itself. I have to take over the world.
On the right toward US 98, Florida 80.
What? I don't know. Let it take over. Doing a terrible job, but I'd rather intelligence running. If you don't like our major monger, is super excellent. Look at it. It's something in the road. We'll check that when we get out. I don't know what that was.
Now take exit 68 on the right.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that wasn't my fault. I wasn't even driving. The car has avoided things in the road. I don't know if it can do it while it's changing lanes like that. So we're imminently going to be here at
In 500 feet, turn right onto Southern Boulevard.
Mar-a-Lago. Please, nobody be there waiting to assassinate me.
Now turn right onto Southern Boulevard.
So we have a much better sense. Oh yeah, see, this is cool too. Look at this. You can control the windshield wipers with this thing. See that? Really good. Really impressive. Super impressive. My tripod is not as impressive as this car. It keeps wanting to shift to the right. So I guess this, pay attention, it says. Yes, paying attention. I guess this live stream is close to over because the test was from Miami to Mar-a-Lago and we're almost here. Other than me almost causing a crash, the car has performed amazingly well. I mean, better than I could have anticipated. I can't recommend this self-driving highly enough. But to summarize what I was saying, it really does seem like Commissioner Carrick was a victim of lawfare. If people are interested in reading that article, I've just posted it today on my X account at JG_CSTT. Totally free for people to read that. If you sponsor, subscribe on X or sponsor, you can see a bunch of sponsor exclusive content. This video is going to be free, but there's always sponsor exclusive content. Now we got people driving around like crazy. It's good. Avoided that guy. It's funny. This area near Mar-a-Lago, it looks actually very much like where I was in Miami when I started. That's interesting. But definitely check out this article about Commissioner Carrick being a victim of lawfare. Sponsor the show. You can't sponsor on Odyssey right now because they are in the process of adding a payment system. They don't have a payment system right there. Who's responsible if the car wrecks? You out. I think me, because I'm driving it. Lost reception buffering. Sorry about that, people. Swap shop when you get... Yeah, exactly. Is that Grand Theft Auto reference? Huh. So some people are saying no volume, getting worse by the minute. Right, because the problem is I have a bonded array of 3 Starlink satellites, and I think what I've determined is that 4 is going to be the magic number. I should have suction cupped all of them. Like, see this one I have suction cupped to the ceiling. Okay, I got to pay attention again because it's driving now. The one in the back quickly slid out from where I had it and was jammed underneath the metal part of the car. So it couldn't see the sky and it's getting no internet whatsoever. So I already lost 30% of my bandwidth pretty much right away. That was not good. And I apologize to everybody, but this was a big technology test. Really all the stuff I'm saying about Commissioner Carrick, everybody can just read about by getting the article. I guess we're approaching Mar-a-Lago here. Is this the entrance? I think it's going to just take me there and say, now you got to get the hell out of here because I'm not invited. We're 2 minutes away. Here's a look at this. Can people see this fancy bridge to Mar-a-Lago? Isn't that cool? Can we tip up? I'm going to not block it. Just look at that. We've got this, I guess it's a drawbridge. Pretty cool. Look at all that. Here, this might be a better view of it. There's like a turret thing there, or whatever you call that. Little hut. Charles is living the hut life in Indonesia or wherever he's hanging out. Yeah, I guess there it is. You can see Mar-a-Lago there. People see it? So there you go. That's the live stream. Miami to Mar-a-Lago. Pretty awesome. I guess it's going to end the trip now. We're 1 minute away from Mar-a-Lago. Follow me on X. I'm going to disengage full self-driving and turn around. We'll drive past Mar-a-Lago and then we'll turn around. But follow me on X at JG_CSTT. And I don't know if
feet, turn left.
do they let you even drive by it? We've got a police or a Secret Service turret right there. That's cool. Can people see that as I drive by?
Now turn left.
Nice. They'd be like, oh, we got a guy with satellites. Somebody shoot him. I don't know where I'm going now. So anyway, yeah, follow me on X. Watch that live stream.
Right.
Pedestrians. Where do you turn around? That's Mar-a-Lago too.
Now turn right onto Bahia Pelicano.
Where is it telling me that I'm going? I guess it's still programmed to go to Mar-a-Lago even though I'm not self-driving.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Blossom Way.
Well,
Now
we're
turn
going to
left
cancel
onto
this
Blossom
trip.
Way.
Okay. Yeah. Bernard Carrick seems to have suffered a lawfare defeat at the hands of John Colt, a judge that I do not like or trust. He's allowed lawfare to happen against me, and it's a bad thing. There's a lot of cops around Mar-a-Lago. That makes sense. Maybe this was stupid because obviously there's been, oh look, there's another Mar-a-Lago entrance there. I don't want to do anything suspicious. Obviously there's people, you know, Ryan Ruth was here, so there's got to be a ton of security. I guess there's other people's houses too. All right, well, so now I got to get back to where I'm staying and reload this live stream so that the people who missed it will be able to see it. We're getting lots of views of Mar-a-Lago. Wait. Got to pay.